Scott from the Cooperative Community Project, and I want to tell you what we believe in. What we believe in is that we want to end poverty. Now, how we get there, we already have the plan, but the biggest thing is we believe that everyone has the right to have a roof over their head, food in their stomach, and the basic necessities to life. We also believe that people deserve the right to have a just and fair government, which is called a direct democracy government. It's a whole new style, and at the same time it's not. It's something that the Greeks did back a long time ago, and essentially anyone who was a citizen had the right to vote. So you'd vote your leaders in, stuff like that, and the person who represents you, and then anything that they wanted to pass, you actually got a say. So that's essentially what we want to hopefully maybe one day do here. Now, we got it in smaller form. However, there's other groups that are out there fighting, wanting to set it up so that way we get rid of the party system altogether. We end up having it set up so that way when it comes down to it, we elect the person who represents us in our area. We elect a leader individually. So instead of it being the person who has the most party members and becomes a drastic dictatorship, it would be really nice to have that set up. Now, when it comes down to it is that when we go and do the direct democracy, we also have a vote. So, like the carbon tax law put through, I'm pretty sure we all would have voted no. Who wants more taxes, right? And this is why they don't get our opinion, is because as far as they're concerned, we don't matter other than a piggy bank, which is unfortunate. And it's not just liberals. We have a lot of other governments that have taken advantage of the people over the years. So we forget so quickly that the Conservative Party was corrupt as well, and that they barely hung in there after the '08 crash. They did a much better job than Trudeau was doing, so that I'll give them credit for. Now, I don't hate conservatives, I don't hate liberals, and personally, I think we need to get rid of that whole party bull stuff, and us to be able to do that. And that's what I believe in, is that we need a different form of government. Now, for this to happen, we need to actually show that it can work. So, what I believe is in the communities that we can do a smaller version of this, where you elect people from different parts of the area. Instead of having a main leader, you actually have just different people. So you have up to 8 people per community that are on this council, and when they want to add laws or rules or stuff like that, I believe they have to go to the people, like our government should. I believe our government should have to go to that, but they don't. So, this is how we're going to start it. Now, I believe that, again, that nobody should be homeless. I mean, I believe that there should be no reason why we have 150,000 plus kids homeless across this country. I also believe there's no reason why we should have war veterans, Aboriginals, regular people, women, children, and men in general homeless across this country. Over 700,000 to 1 million people homeless across Canada. And it just keeps growing. You know, I believe everyone deserves the right to have a home. We all work for it, and yet in the end, it's not working out. I believe also everyone has a right to a proper education if they choose so. I also believe that resources should become freely available to all people in our communities. So, like basic foods and necessities and stuff like that. And what I want to refer to is that when it comes down to it, I've seen families where, you know, mom and dad are both working full-time and a half, and then they finally retire. Oh, I'm living now. Okay, then they have no idea what to do. So they end up going back to work, because as far as they were concerned, that was their life. But that's not living. I believe that people should have the right to live. And now I'm not saying everyone sit around and smoke weed and and do nothing. That's not what I'm referring to. Now, what I'm referring to is a shared work system. So everyone gets certain jobs, and everyone shares the workload. So when it comes down to it, we have only one job for every about 2 or 3 people across this country right now. I know it doesn't seem like that, right? But it's the truth. And so when it comes down to it, we shared it, and we set it up so that we all had access to resources as long as you put in your minimum hours. I believe this would be a great compromise. So everyone works 20, 30 hours a week, or, more if you like your job, or if you're trying to avoid the wife, or anyways. So I believe people should have the right to be able to live. Now, I do believe that some work is very healthy for a person's for state of mind and the body, but spending all your time working, then you don't have time with your family. You don't get to see your kids grow up. Someone else is raising them in a daycare, and this wasn't meant the way we were supposed to live at all. So, with the resource-based economies, what I'm referring to is that in the communities, everything would be available to everyone. Now, with in mind, once it, if you're making stuff and you have it at your place, that's your stuff, right? Nobody can grab it from you without being dealt with and stuff like that. Or like, lady with lawn gnomes or stuff like that. It happens, people love their gnomes. What I'm trying to get at is that even though the basic resources in life, I believe, should be freely available, and they aren't right now. I mean, we have more homes than we have people, and yet we have people living on the streets. So, with a resource-based economy, not only would everyone have a home, no one would know what it's like to starve anymore. No one would know what it's like to have to budget anymore or deal with any of that stuff, which is nice, because if everything is included while you're doing your hours, I believe this gives you a much better way of life. And I know this sounds a little different. This goes a long ways to making a big difference in our lives. And I believe one day we can convert all Canada and change the way our system is. Because the way it is right now is we have no say. And I believe we have the right to have a say-so. So I also believe that you guys will share this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I believe that whether you believe in God or not, He is looking after you. And I'm not saying this to try to shove Godism around you or whatever you want, or religion. Personally, I'm a spiritual person. I believe I'm simply a man of God. So, what I believe doesn't always matter when it comes to spirituality, religious, because when people ask me about it, I'll teach them. Otherwise, I'm a teacher, pretty much. I don't sit there and preach. So when it comes down to it, I believe you guys are going to share this video. I believe that when it comes down to it, that the Cooperative Community Project is the way. And I also believe that these tokens, we have the GoFundMe fundraiser, we have a lot of different ways to bring funds in, and I believe we'll make it there within a year or two. And we will only do it if we have your help. And I believe everyone wants to change. We just got to find that, what part of this makes sense to you and what parts you want. You want it set up so you don't have to worry about how you're going to get your kids milk or how you're going to survive. You shouldn't have to. This isn't living. This is starving. This is slavery. This is textbook slavery. Actually, if you go up and look at the dictionary and other places of history on what slaves went through, I think the slaves actually had it better sometimes. Unless you had a really horrible owner. But that's a whole different thing. We only hear about the bad stuff. We never heard about the good stuff. And what I'm trying to say is that with the way we are in a state of slavery, and we need to stop this. And the only way it's going to happen is if we make change. So I believe we can come together as Canadians, as native-born Canadians. So as long as you're born in Canada, you should have the right to have a say-so in Canada. Or whatever country you're from, you should have the right to have a say-so in your country. Well, God bless, and have a great day, guys.